Welcome back to all my tiny tots, little ones, big, oh fuck, crud. Tiny tots, little ones, big kids, tweens, teens, everyone in between, CG slopes and adults. I'm Time, and this is my channel, Misted Flaws, if you're new here, and if you're not, just welcome back. I am so happy to see that you're back. Alright, so today we are doing chapter 63, 64, and 65. Slight disclaimer, I did work through the book backwards at first. So now I'm going back to the chapter after where I started with my fanfics, which was chapter 62, I believe. And now I'm here. So if you've already heard chapter 63, let me know in the comments, because that'd be a very, very big help. Anyways, into the story we go, I suppose. Also, it is canon that Rambu uses he, they pronouns, which is what is mentioned in the story. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But as time does go on, I do imply that I have my own headcanon with Renbu's non-canon characters' pronouns, if that makes sense. Like Rambu's canon character, not Rambu as a person, but his character. Oh, it's getting so much more complicated. Also, I'm not a dream stan, so thanks. Anyway. Chapter 63, CG Dream, Little Rambu, and Walking. Dark, cold, wet, the grass soaked and muddy beneath his feet, Rambu snapped out of their daze, confused as to how he got there. They couldn't remember going to bed the night before or the day before at all. It scared him. Their parents had warned him about this. They fell to the ground, tears running down his face. Where were they even? How was he going to get home? Where was their CG? A sob erupted from his throat. They pulled his knees to their chest, his forehead resting on his knees, their skin burned, rain pouring down around him. Boo! Dream called out as he sprinted across the slit glass. The little remained unresponsive to CG's yells. Dream reached their side, kneeling down. Rambu, buddy, can you answer me? Dream asked. Rambu slowly nodded, uncurling and reaching out a hand to cling on to the older shirt. Dream carefully wrapped his arms around the little, tapping his back twice. Rambu taps the back of Dream's neck once. Dream nods and gently strokes Rambu's back, murmuring soft reassurances in the other's ear. So for that bit there, where they're like tapping each other, I don't know what that was for. I can't remember. I wrote this so long ago. I really need to dig back into the past and just figure it out. So just, yeah, if you ask me about it in the comments, I'll be like, I don't know. I don't know. I have a feeling it was like, different questions that they asked, wordlessly, or maybe it was like, it's okay if you touch me, that kind of thing. It's like those things when like a little is nonverbal and they're in overload and the CG needs to know, like, hey, are you okay? Is there anything I can do? Is it okay if I touch you? That kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's what was going on here. I don't know. About 15 minutes later, Rambu's breathing had returned to normal. Refusing to let go of his caregiver, Dream carefully picked the little up, starting to walk back towards the house to get the little out of the rain. He could see the welts from the rain that had touched the little's skin. The next couple of days would be slow and painful. They soon reached home, Dream helping Rambu into the bathroom after giving him a water resistance potion. I don't know if that's actually a thing, so please just pretend it's real for my sake, because I do not play Minecraft. I want to so bad, but I don't, because I don't have a device to play it on. Yeah. I also can't afford it. After his bath, the little was extremely tired. Dream cooed lightly, helping the little into his pajamas and making him up a warm bottle. He held the bottle to the little's lips, the little himself quickly latching on. Dream smiled and hummed a soft tune, slowly walking up the stairs to his bedroom. He sat down on the bed, little still laying in his arms. Rambu's eyes began to flutter closed. Sucking out the last of the sweet warm liquid from their bottle, he quickly fell asleep. Dream stuck by his side all night. Not in a creepy ways, like kind of how your parents used to watch you sleep when you were younger, just to make sure you were still breathing, keeping the monsters away and stuff, that kind of thing, and comforted the little from their night terrors. Alright, so I believe I may have read this one before, I can't remember, but chapter 64, CG Rambu Little Wilbert. Thank you so much, Trex Beeman from AO3 who requested this one. And as always, y'all, you can request chapters. you can request chapters. I don't care. It may be a few before I like actually get to reading them aloud, but yeah, you can request chapters, and it would be a big help because I'm at a roadblock again with my book. I think I'm at like 100 and I want to say 103 chapters. I don't remember. I haven't touched it in that long. I will double check at the end of this. Alright, anyway. Wilbur stood by the stove. Slight warning, really fast. Burns. Medical care. Crying little, panicked little. Also a slight panic CGA moment, because we love overprotective CGs. Anyway, so, yeah, there you go. Wilbur stood by the stove, carefully watching what he was cooking. Rambo was on call with him, reading out donos and thanking people. Oh yeah, this one was kind of also, like, my brain was also kind of inspired by Tubbo's stream where he bakes a pie on stream, and Phil is just in the call in the background. Yeah, that's what this was inspired by, ish, minus the request. But that's what the whole scenario was inspired by. Rambo was on call with him, reading out donos and thanking people. He was glad he had such a great friend to help him out with things like these. His mind went slightly fuzzy as his CG checked in with him. Wilbur, King, you doing all right? Rambo asked. A small bit of concern laced into his voice. Wilbur nodded. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I be? Rambo shrugs behind his screen and answers, You've been quiet for a while, dude. Wanted to make sure everything's okay. Wilbur nods again. Yeah, I'm all right. Just tired. Just tired was his usual excuse for feeling small, but wanting to continue to stream. Rambo nods, sending the elder a quick PM. Are you sure, King? We can end the stream and pick it back up later, Rambo texted. Wilbur heard his Discord go off with a message and turned to look at it. A small smile graced his face as he left his spot by the stove for a moment to respond to the questions. No, that's all right. I want to keep making chat happy, Wilbur answered back. Rambo quickly noticed the spelling errors in his sentence and immediately began to mentally panic. This was not good. Wilbur returned to the space by the stove, taking his mixture and adding it to the other part of the ending product piece. He poured the filling into the pie crust and gave the camera a smell. Chat, it gonna be uber good, Wilbur slurred as he poured the hot mixture into the pie crust. A spam of messages popped up in chat, asking what was going on, why he was talking like that, and some hate for him sounding like a little kid. Rambo quickly PM'd the mods and they took care of the situation. Wilbur finished up pouring the mixture into the pan, placing the pan into the oven, nearly making it out unscathed, except for the last moment when his hand hit the bottom rack. Tears sprung to his eyes as the small burn quickly turned into needles pressing up under his skin. He bit back tears, trying to keep from bawling on stream. Wilbur, bud, run your hand under cold water, okay? Rambo called out, breaking through the panic like fog. Wilbur nodded, quickly toddling over to the sink and turning on the water, running his burning hand under the coolness. On the other hand, Rambo switched the call over to his phone, slipping in his earbuds and heading out the door after pulling on some shoes. He kept an eye on the situation as he waited for the bus, hoping that it would arrive soon. Wilbur had given up, not fully bawling on stream, letting out a few tears as the burning sensation got worse and worse as time progressed. His CG had gone silent on the other end, adding to his problems like Jenga blocks. He tried to take a deep breath in to calm down, falling and ending up in a coughing, crying mess. He managed to get to his feet and toddle over to his computer, whimpering out a small goodbye chat before logging off and ending the stream. This would surely be all over the internet the next day, but for now, he had worse things to worry about. The bus soon arrived and Rambo climbed on. He was worried about his little as he checked back in. Buddy, you there? He asked gently. The little's tear-streaked face popped back into frame. Rambo's heart panged with sadness as he slowly got out of breath. Did you enter stream? Small nod. Rambo nods as well, offering a small, reassuring smile to Wilbur. I'll be there in the next 10 minutes, Bubs. Just hang on. Rambo answers. Wilbur nods again, more tears springing to his eyes. Do you have any burn gel, sweetheart? Rambo asks. Wilbur begins to nod, then pauses, not quite remembering if he does or doesn't. He shrugs. Rambo nods and double-checks that he got the burn gel and bandages before he left the house. He did. Rambo is awesome like that. I believe in this one I only use he, him pronouns for Rambo as well, so sorry about that. Because it may have been that the chapter before, I had canon that Rambo used he, they pronouns before I actually knew that he canoned himself that he used he, they pronouns. So, yeah. Yeah. A few minutes later, Rambo climbs off the bus, running down the street and stopping in front of Wilbur's apartment complex. Heading inside and sprinting up the stairs to the correct floor, he lets himself in with a spare key and makes sure to shut and lock the door behind himself. He finds their little on the floor, curled into a ball. Rambo ends a Discord call on both devices and kneels down by the little. But he asks gently. Wilbur quickly sits up, throwing himself into Rambo's arms. It hurts, Papa. Shh. I know, sweetheart. I know, Rambo reassures the little. Wilbur sobs into the latter's chest. The latter usually means other, just so we all know. The other managing to get Wilbur's injured hand free after a few tries. He carefully applied the burn gel, his heart pinging every time he hears the little whimper, then applies a bandage over it. There we go, Bubs, Rambo says quietly, scooping the little up into his arms easily. Wilbur's sobs are calmed down to quiet sniffles as the older holds him, rocking him from side to side and murmuring gentle reassurances into his ears. Rambo grabs a bottle out of a nearby cupboard and fills it with water, giving a guess his little is dehydrated. That's when he notices the timer on the oven hasn't been set. He quickly adjusts the time, and finishes filling the bottle with water, tightening the lid and offering it to the little, who latches on quickly. There's a good boy, Rambo murmurs, a small smile crossing his features. Wilbur gulps down his bottle, his throat so dry and he so thirsty. Slow down, hun, Rambo says quietly as he notices an incoming Discord call from Tubbo. Tubbo's calling. Is it alright if I answer, bud? Wilbur turns what his CG set around in his head for a moment before nodding. Rambo accepts the call, Tommy's and Tubbo's faces quickly appearing on screen. Rambo, Tubbo and Tommy shout. Is Wilbur okay? Rambo hears the little whimper and gently shushes him, rocking him a bit. He's doing just fine. Please turn your volumes down. You're scaring him. Tommy and Tubbo nod. Hey, Will, you okay, bud? Tommy asks quietly. Wilbur giggles a bit and nods. He was doing good. His CG was there with him. He yawned a bit as exhaustion pulled into his bones, turning his limbs to jelly. It's alright, Bubs. You can go to sleep. I'll be here when you wake up, Rambo promises, murmuring a quick goodbye to Tommy and Tubbo and ending the call. Wilbur nods, his eyes growing heavier by the second, eventually fighting to keep them open. After a few moments, he gives up, giving in to the much-needed rest. Rambo smiles a bit, continuing to rock the little in his arms. Alright, so the further down we get, either the worse or better the chapters get, so just a fair warning. Chapter 65, CG Technoblade Little Filza. Content warning for mentions of repressing regression unintentionally, crying little, stressed out little, and a baby space Filza, because why not? Also, I love writing baby space characters. They're just so cute. I don't know. I guess it's just easier for me to write them. Like, I can write toddlers. It's not that bad. It's a little difficult. It wasn't like he didn't try to regress. He just tried not to do it around other people, like his sons and people he didn't trust that much. But it wasn't just that factor. He was also very busy. He's helping people all over the server with builds, repairs, cleanup, and taking orders for his personal business. It wasn't his fault he didn't have time. Or maybe it was. It also wasn't his fault that he had told everyone, and everyone seemed supportive. He just didn't trust everyone that much, especially not enough for them to be able to look after him in a vulnerable state. Technoblade noticed something off with his roommate late one evening. The older male had let out a small whine of frustration as he tried to work out the blueprints for a new build, but it just wasn't turning out like he wanted, and it wouldn't be what he wanted if he couldn't fix his mistake and soon. You all right, Phil? Techno asked quietly, looking up from his book. Yeah, thanks, mate. Just a few complications, that's all, Phil answered. Techno nodded and turned back to his book, glancing up at Phil's every 5 to 15 minutes. Soon enough, about an hour and a half had passed, and Phil's pencil hadn't moved an inch. The older male was frustrated and stressed out, Techno sensed. He carefully bookmarked his page, setting it down off to the side. He got up, walking over to Phil's side, and setting a warm, calloused hand on the other's shoulder. Phil, why don't we take a walk around the garden? Techno suggested. The other didn't respond or move a muscle. Techno was confused. He had never seen the man this still in his entire life. He carefully turned the older male to face him, pulling his chair backwards. Phil's face was streaked with tears, both new and old. He wiped at them uselessly as more took their place. Techno felt something in his heart pull and wrapped his arms around the other. "It's all right, Phil. We'll get something figured out," Techno said gently. Phil slowly shook his head, tears still streaming down his face. "Oh, bud, it's okay," Techno murmured, finally connecting a few dots and hoping that his guess was right. The little whimpered, it quickly turning into a full sob as he collapsed into Techno's arms. The older-minded male caught him and held him close, rocking him back and forth, humming a gentle tune. "Shh, it's all right, sweet boy, I've got you," Techno murmured. Phil sniffled, resting his tired head on the other's shoulder. Techno smiled gently, rubbing the little's back as he got up, carrying the little into the kitchen and heating him up some angel's milk. Once the microwave was done, he offered the bottle to Philza, who looked as though he didn't know what to do with it, and that's when Techno got his first glimpse of Philza's little age. He cooed gently, resting the nipple of the bottle against the little's lips. The other quickly opened his mouth, accepting the warm, sweet mixture and quickly gulping it down. "Slow down, sweetheart. Don't want an upset stomach now," Techno said gently. Phil slowed down a bit, but the bottle was still emptied within minutes. His eyes felt heavier after he had finished his bottle, placing his entire trust into the man holding him to protect him. Techno smiled, gently rocking the little as he placed the empty bottle into the sink and walked back into the living room, sitting down in the rocking chair before the fire after grabbing his book. He turned to the page he had ended off on and began to read aloud, his voice a hushed, steady tone as he read the lines. Phil closed his eyes, unable to keep them open any longer. He was beyond tired at this point. He heard a gentle coo come from Techno, and he opened his eyes a bit, looking up. "Oh, it's all right, baby bird. You can sleep. Bubba's got you," Techno murmured, cradling the little close to his chest. Phil managed half a nod. Phil managed a half nod, his mouth stretching wide as he yawned. He let his eyes flutter shut as Techno continued to read from his book. The fire kept the two warm and comfortable in one another's presence. Techno debated on carrying the little up to the bedroom, deciding that the little would sleep better if he were if he were up in an actual bed, and quickly but carefully got up and walked up the stairs to the second floor. Once upstairs, he tucked the little in, turning to leave when he felt a small hand reach out and grab his slate. He turned back, scarlet eyes meeting emerald green ones, as the little whimpered a bit. Techno offered a gentle smile and climbed into bed beside Phil, the little snuggling into his side. He laid silently as the little drifted back off, soon falling asleep as well. Slight disclaimer, there is an inaccuracy there. It should be scarlet eyes meeting lapis lazuli blue ones, because Phil's character's eyes are blue, not green. That was my mistake, and I just never fixed it. Alright, so y'all get a bonus chapter. Woohoo for you. Chapter 66. CG, Bad Boy Halo, Little Skeppy. Skeppy rolled over, snuggling into CG's side. Bad stirred a bit, his hand reaching up and ruffling the little's dark curls. "Dada." Skeppy whines lightly. "Yes, Bubs?" Bad answers. "Seepy," Skeppy answers, burying his face into his boyfriend's chest. Bad smiles lightly. "Yeah, I get it, bud. It's been a long week, huh?" Skeppy nods sluggishly. Bad pulls the blanket back up over the little, running his fingers up and down the little spine gently. "Go back to sleep, baby. We've got the whole day ahead of us," Bad murmured to the little curled into his side. Skeppy nodded a bit, his eyes slowly closing again. Bad gently kissed the little's forehead, his finger gently tracing shapes on the little spine. It was around 10 a.m. when they both awoke again, the late morning sunshine shining through the windows, predicting the gorgeous day ahead. Bad carefully got up, not wanting to wake his little. He carefully snuck out of the room, avoiding all the squeaky floorboards. He finally made it downstairs, running through the possible breakfast options in his mind. He finally decided on waffles, his little favorite breakfast food. He digs through the cupboard, eventually finding the recipe book, and he hears soft footsteps on the stairs. He places the book down on the counter and directs his gaze over towards the stairs, watching his dark-haired boyfriend Jonas down, landing on his feet, pale blue oversized hoodie falling to his mid-thigh, striped socks covering his legs. "Good morning, Diamond," Bad says as he turns back to the recipe book, finding the waffle recipe and placing the book on the counter. He looks back at the ingredients, digging through the cupboard and the fridge for the necessary ingredients. "Dada, I want to help." Skeppy cried as he toddled over to Bad, hugging the older around his legs. All right, Bud. All right, Bubs. Bad answered. The two made breakfast together and prepared for a day out on the town, happiness seeping from their pores. It was going to be more than just a good day. Well, that's the end of that one, I guess. I will double check the number of chapters really fast. Hold on. Okay, we're at 103 apparently. All I could have sworn there was 104, but oh, there is. Okay, I have a basic idea for that one. I love my life, y'all. It's yeah, it's, you know. Anyway, so now you get a sneak peek at my whole docs because it's so disorganized. So I did end up writing a DSMP Agere if anybody wants to, or like DSMP character X reader if any of y'all want to hear it. Let me know in the comments. I also do MHA, Haikaiu, and I'm open to doing any others if requested. Just let me know. That being said, thank you all so much for coming and supporting my channel, and I'll hopefully see you all in the next one. I hope you all have a fantabulous day, night, evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it may be for you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Farewell for now to all my tiny tots, little ones, big kids, tweens, teens, everyone in between, CGs, flips, and adults.